All right, in 2020, if you're looking for a profitable food business idea, I'm going to give you 5 of them that are extremely profitable food business ideas, and you can get them started from home right now. All right, so let's hop right into it. I'm going to go over some very, very extremely profitable food business ideas that are going to make you money. And this is not some type of gimmick or made up random bits of information. I know for a fact most of the products and most of the things I'm actually going to give you, the top 5 I'm going to give you, are either products or services that I've actually experienced. One of them was the one I actually started from our Italian bakery quite a few years ago and was quite profitable for us and lucrative. And you can always there's a numerous amounts of home-based business opportunities that you can do, even with food under the cottage food law, to get your business started and then grow it into something that you can then transition into a commercial facility and then start to either sell online or get into retail stores and such. So if you are under the cottage food law trying to prepare a product from home, then this video is going to give you 5 of the most profitable food products and food businesses to start. Now, how do I know they're profitable? Because everything I'm going to tell you costs very little per unit to make. And I know this for a fact because I make still to this day 3 of these 5 I still do myself because they're so profitable. So let me jump right to it. I don't want to beat around the bush and take too much of your time. I want to get to the point. Number 5, from home, you want to start is baked goods. Baked goods of almost any kind. Now, keep in mind, under the cottage food law, there are certain, very small amount, but there's a certain types of baked goods that you can't necessarily make due to the fact that it's called potentially hazardous food products, meaning that it's time or temperature sensitive. Like, for instance, if you're making cheese danishes, that's normally something that's actually not allowed under cottage food law because the cheese on the top has to be handled and maintained at a certain temperature to inhibit any type of bacteria, which could cause a problem. So baked goods in general, from everything from muffins to protein fortified muffins or cakes or loaves, cookies, cupcakes, these types of products are always very profitable because the cost to produce them is so small in comparison to other types of food products. The margins are really big, especially when you have an opportunity to get to local farmers markets and local events and you're selling either a couple hundred or even a couple thousand units. This can be a very profitable and easy to start from home type of a business. Number 4, candy. Candy. This could be anywhere from brittle candies, peanut brittles, if you're doing lollipops, if you're doing chocolates, if you're doing truffles, if you're doing even chocolate-coated pretzels and those types of products, the cost to basically bring these together is another one similar to baked goods because it's normally purchased in bulk when you get sugars, flour, if you're getting food coloring, if you're getting flavorings, they're very, very inexpensive to start and get up and running, and yet you could charge anywhere from 40 to 50 times what it costs you to make them. It's mind-boggling the profit margin you can make on these things. So the other thing that's really good, again, about starting from home is that there's a small investment period. You're not having to get into a commercial building. You don't have to get commercial equipment. You can almost start any of these businesses actually with just simply almost the similar type of utensils and cookware that you have at home. I highly would recommend that if you do get a business up and running and you are working on any one of these 5, have a separate set of utensils, a separate set of cookware that's dedicated to your business that you're not using for your home. Just because of the fact of a sanitation purpose and keeping it separate from your home as well. That is I definitely recommend for any of these ideas. Now, number 3, wedding favors. This is something that is a no-brainer. We actually still, to this day, almost 11 years into being online, we still do wedding favors. Now, almost any type of candy or food product can be personalized, shrunk down in size to make it either an individual size or some type of a favor that can be put in front of a guest or given to a guest for an event. It actually could be wedding favors, it could be corporate events, it could be birthdays. The different types of events are almost limitless, but the ability to make small individual size packaging is a no-brainer. And on top of it, I have actually seen some individual favors for weddings be anywhere from $5 to $10 a piece. And I know the ones that we make are anywhere from like a 60 to 80 cents. So you can see the gigantic margins that you can get if you simply open a wedding favor business, or even just an event favors. Like I said, if you do birthday parties, any type of a favor that you have, you can literally customize for that specific event for your client or your customer. Now, again, these are things that can be done from home because under most cottage food laws, you're actually allowed to transact directly to the bride. Let's use it as an example. So you have in contact with a bride and she's going to have a wedding. She wants you to do her favors. You make them, you bring them directly to her, and then she distributes them to her guests. Those types of transactions are allowed under cottage food law. So creating an inexpensive product and having the ability to mark it up 50, even 60 times what it costs you is something that's just a no-brainer. And weddings and different events are obviously never going to go away. They're always happening, and it is a great stepping stone for a home-based food business. All right, number 2, preserves. Jams, jellies, and preserves. Now, this one's a little bit tricky only because, number 1, like I mentioned before, this falls in the line of very inexpensive to make. Why? Because preserves, jams, and jellies are made in batches. When you break up those batches into individual units, you can begin to make quite a bit of a margin on each individual unit you sell. If you're going to a farmer's market or a festival of some kind or a food and festival, each individual jam, preserve, or marmalade, something to that effect, you can get anywhere from $6 to $7 because of the fact that it's handmade, it's small artisan batches. It's much more expensive at the retail price point when you're selling it and you're making it than it you would see in a retail store. A lot of the jams and jellies, preserves you see in the retail stores are mass-produced. There is really very little to any of them that are handmade. And the quality of the product you're making in hand is much better than it is in the grocery store. So therefore, you have the ability to ask more for it because of that quality. So preserves and jellies and jams are number 2 on my list because they are a bulk product. They can be produced in massive amounts. And then those recipes are broken down into individual jars or bottles. So the last one I've got is number 1 is actually catering business. Now, most states may allow you to do the catering business from home, but you may have to have a food handler's card or certain permit or license. Each county and city, of course, is different. But the reason why I put catering as number 1 is because catering is for events, right? So if you're preparing a product, a baked good or sweet or something or desserts or something to that effect, and you're doing it for an event, that actual transaction for an event could be in the several hundreds to a couple of thousand or even several $1,000s, as opposed to the other 4 that I just mentioned, which may be just individual units that you want to sell a lot of in order for you to make a profit. You follow what I'm saying? So catering is something that's just like an event at a time as opposed to a single unit. You're going to get an event and it's going to bring you in potentially $5 or even $6,000 or even $1,200, $2,000 or $3,000 per pop for every single event. And of course, it could be higher, it could be slightly lower. But your margin on those products for the amount of product that you're making is much, much better because you have a larger ticket per transaction. You're not selling individual jars of preserves or individual candies or wedding favors, okay? So the 2 that I would say the most out of the 5, wedding favors, because you're going to get large orders for large events, and the catering, because again, large orders for large events. So those are my top 5 most extremely profitable food businesses to start from home in 2020. So if you have any other questions about this, please do let me know and I'll get to them as soon as possible. I'll see you on my next video.